and see what you like about me. You wouldn't even fit into my shoes. Some of these things that I've seen through these eyes, man, some of them things that would surprise you. They would leave you in tears, then dry and disappear, and hate because of fear. Try something new, and if you can't, then when I blow my kisses to the crowds, they'll be directed straight to you.
Hello and welcome to Walk a Mile in My Shoes. I am your host Keely, and today we are walking a mile in the shoes of Big Warnz.
Hello.
Tell me where the name Big Warnz come from.
Oh, okay, so basically, my surname is Warner.
Okay.
And as I was growing up, obviously everyone gives each other nicknames. Couldn't really think of anything for me, so it was just like, "Hi, Warner." So it kind of stuck. So everyone through school was calling me Warner, and as I grew older, I got bigger and bigger, and it kind of just fit like big Warnz. So kind of went with it really.
I like that.
Not really interesting, just my surname.
It's still interesting. It's your story. Tell me about you. So what do you do?
So I'm a family man.
Yeah.
First and foremost, very close to my family. I'm a PE teacher, so not many people would know that about me.
Really?
Yeah,
You're
I'm a PE teacher
in schools.
In schools, yeah.
No way.
So yeah.
What years? Like all.
I'm primary school.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I do all the PE for all the primary school, all the classes in my primary school.
Yeah.
Fitness, addict, gym goer, just a normal guy really.
Bodybuilder?
I wouldn't classify myself as a bodybuilder because the only reason is the diet is very hard and I like to eat. So if I was to put myself into any category, I'd say I'm more of a power lifter.
Yeah.
Power lifters kind of like to lift heavy weights and get stronger. Bodybuilding is more about how your body looks, going on stage. The diets, the training regiments is brutal. Whereas I like to go in and just kind of like lift stuff up. So,
that's where powerlifter literally comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Power lifting stuff up. So yeah, pretty much that's it.
What got you into training and stuff?
Quite a few things got me into training. First thing I'd say is my older brother was really the driving force in my training.
Yeah.
He's 4 years older than me, and he always trained from when he was younger. So when he was about 15, obviously I was 13, 12, them sort of ages there. And I just used to watch him training. And he'd be in the house. He made a makeshift dumbbell. So he'd have two bricks on the either end and a bit of wood. And he'd be doing weights. And like obviously I'd seen this, so I'm like, I want some of that. So I'll have a go. So I started doing 1-2 little bits, not much, but a little bit. And I remember when I was in school, I was very, very skinny. I know I look big now. I was very skinny.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
You would never think that.
Yeah, I was very skinny. Tall, gangly. So I just started to do a little bit of the weights because I only had the dumbbells.
Yeah.
I was still skinny, but I had quite big arms in school when I was younger. So I was like, oh, he's got big arms. So that was kind of the first kind of introduction to training.
Yeah.
And then, because I was quite an avid footballer when I was younger, I played football from when I was 8 years old. And again, being really skinny, I was quite good. So I had training sessions and I was signed for quite a few football teams. So anyone that knows me, anyone that knows my government, that knows me from school, etc., those people know that I was a really good footballer. So good. And all I pretty much thought about was becoming a professional footballer.
Yeah.
We can touch on that a little bit later.
You look like Rio Ferdinand.
You know something? That's the time where he had the K rolls and he was going through that kind of World Cup stage.
Yeah.
I had K rolls first, by the way. I say that. So when he was going through that sort of stage, I had my hair K rolled, and every time I'd go anywhere, no, Rio Ferdinand, blah blah blah. Like literally. People thought I was his double or his twin or something.
You really, really look like
I'm on about when he was thin and he had his hair like came rolled. It was me, but yeah. So anyway, we'll touch on that later. So I remember playing football. I was about 15 years old. So I remember I'd been introduced to training a little bit from my brother, and then I was training as we're not a professional footballer, but I was training at Derby County, a football club.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it happened, but we was, I think, under 15s, and the manager, he got a game against under 17/18s West Ham team. So we went down to London. Obviously, the rivalry, you Northerners, you Southerners, whatever, blah, blah, blah. went down there, and the idea was to see where we were at 15-year-old kids
Yeah.
compared to 18, 17-year-old kids who were just on the verge of becoming footballers.
Yes.
So I remember I was playing, and these big burly defenders were knocking me off the ball, and like I said, I was only a rake, you know, I was skinny,
Oh.
just knocking me off the
You
ball.
did have big arms by this point.
I had big arms, but that doesn't. The shoulders, my legs, everything else was small. Like I might have a big arm, but that doesn't mean nothing. So I was keeping my own. I was trying my best to, you know, try and not get knocked off the ball.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, we had like what we call analysis. So the manager would go around and speak to everyone and say, look, this is what we did wrong in here. I know we're younger, I know older, but this is what we did. And he was going around talking to everyone. And the first thing he said to me was, you need to put on a bit of weight because you're not strong enough. Like, I know they're 2-3 years older than you, but not everyone in that team, the West Ham team, are good. Some of you guys are better than them, but the ones that stood out, this is where you kind of need to be.
Yeah.
And you need to put a bit of size on. So that kind of resonated in my head. I thought,
Did it knock your confidence a little bit?
a little bit, to be fair, yeah, a little bit, to be fair, kind of knocked my confidence. I thought, because I always grew up being the tallest kid in school, the best footballer in school, and not many people could really knock my confidence because I was always very good. I was in all the football teams, my teachers raved about me. And then going it to like another level where you've got people the same sort of quality as you or better.
Yeah.
For your manager then to say, you're a good player, but you need to put some size on. That kind of resonated with me. I thought, okay, maybe I'm a bit skinny. You know, maybe you need to kind of put a bit of size on. So with that and what my brother was doing, I kind of almost decided to do a bit of weights. But because I was playing football, I couldn't do too much weights because it'd be too heavy. So I kind of done a mixture of upper body exercises to get myself physically strong up top. And then obviously playing football, my legs gradually grew anyway, so I was okay with that. So that's kind of where I kind of initiated my first sort of tasters of training, as in weight training.
What was your diet like before that manager said that to you?
Oh, I didn't really used to eat, you know.
Really?
No, like as much as everyone says, even now, like people look at me and go, "Oh, he's what, 19 stone? He must have like 20 meals a day." I don't really eat that much.
No. What do you eat? Tell me about like your diet and stuff. How often? For anybody who is looking to either get into powerlifting or get a nice nutritional diet.
No, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I could preach to the cows come home in terms of how to eat right.
Yeah.
My brother, like I said, he was very, very much so into the fitness industry. He's got nutrition. He's got qualifications galore, PT galore. So he obviously taught me how to eat. So my diet at the moment, I'm not going to lie to everyone out there. My diet at the moment, it's not, like I said, not a bodybuilder's diet.
Yeah.
Whereas what I consume, I have to consume so much calories and protein in order to be able to lift the heavy weight. So the powerlifter sort of diet. Whereas a bodybuilder, quite regimented in what they eat, etc., and when they eat. But in terms of what I would eat, I'd probably eat, say, 4 to 5 meals a day.
Still a lot.
But at the time when I was eating 8 meals a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to me, when I first started to get bigger, I was eating 8 meals a day. So
small meals?
Yeah, relatively small meals, like, say, medium-sized meals. So enough to, fill you up, yeah. So, like, for instance, someone would say your slenderness, you probably eat that meal and that'd be enough for the day. You know what I mean? Whereas I'd have 4 of those kind of thing. But in terms of strictness, I'm not 100% strict on my diet. No. Not at all. Like my
balance.
Yeah, my weakness is biscuits.
Oh, what's your favourite biscuit?
Oh, come on, bourbon creams, man.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I like the Fox's biscuits, any of them.
Listen, bourbon creams all day.
They're the little like chocolate rectangle ones.
Yeah, all day.
Bourbons over custard creams?
All day.
What about gingerbreads?
Bourbons all day. You're not listening, are you? You're not listening. Bourbons all day.
Oreos?
Bourbons all day. You're not going to get me, Keely. You're not going to get it. But that goes back to, obviously, my mum. When we was younger, we used to always, before we go to bed, have tea and biscuits.
That's nice.
Always, like, and I think that's kind of something that's my mum is kind of instilled in all of us. So even now, I can't go to sleep without a cup of tea in bed. It's mad. So I have a cup of tea and biscuits. I can't go to sleep without it. So I don't know, just kind of stuff that we did. But yeah, so my weakness is biscuits.
Yeah.
So because I can devour a packet full of biscuits, my diet's not strict.
You gotta make way for the biscuits.
I gotta make room for that, and that's calories at the end of the day. You know what I
That's
mean?
one of your 4
That's
meals.
energy at the end of the day. Come on.
Do you feel like the food that you consume affects your energy?
It would do. Like, again, I train with a lot of people that are really strict on their diet,
Yeah.
whether they're bodybuilders, whether they're
Yeah.
powerlifters.
Yeah.
They're strict in terms of they eat what they need to eat to achieve the lifts or the session in the gym for that particular day or that week. So it does affect you. You have to know how much calories to take in order to be ready for the gym. Like, anyone tells you if they had a protein shake or a big meal before they go to the gym and then they go to squat, it's the worst thing ever.
Really?
Do not do it. Because
So don't have a big meal before you go to the gym.
Absolutely
and
not.
squat.
no, don't do anything that's gonna engage your core muscle.
Oh, okay.
Because
why?
you
Tell
know
me
what?
why.
You don't want to be the one walking like that to the toilet afterwards. It's not a good look.
Oh, really?
It's not a good look. So you have to be. I would recommend at least 2 hours before you go to the gym.
Yeah.
So I'll have my last meal. If I'm training at 5, I'll have my last meal at say 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
First of all, it gives it enough time to digest and
Yeah.
go around your body.
Yeah.
And second of all, when you're in the gym, you don't feel bloated and you don't feel like something's going to come out that shouldn't be coming out. Do you know what I mean?
Keep it all compacted.
It's got to stay in there, man. It's got to stay. To keep those corners tight, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I think dietary-wise, you have to know what you're eating in order for your session. But unless you're competing on the stage, you're doing it as a job professionally, you got to treat yourself sometimes. You know what I mean?
Of course. Life's all about balance.
And I'm not going to sit there and lie and go, yeah, I have rice, plain rice and chicken every day and no biscuits, no sweets. No, I do.
Biscuits every day.
Every day.
Really, every day?
Pretty much. But you know what I've done?
Oh,
No, I've done. I set myself a lockdown challenge and I've been sticking to it, to be fair. I'm not allowed to have any biscuits or chocolates until the weekend.
Oh,
But the
okay.
weekend starts on Friday. So on Friday, I'm like, yeah, biscuit time.
But lockdown, every day's the weekend, so.
Well, but because I'm still quite regimented, I still got to work, you see, because I'm
Do
still
you?
looking after the
Key
key worker children. So I've still got to be in work. So I've still got my routine. My
That's
routine hasn't
really
really
good.
stopped in that sense, apart from being able to go to the gym. But we won't say too much about that because I've got a few places there.
What gym do you go to? Not like
Not now, but I haven't.
Obviously before
Disclaimer,
lockdown.
I haven't been to the gym during the lockdown, but when I do go to the gym, I tend to go to Muscle Club Gym. It's,
Muscle Club.
my
That's-
friend Dean owns it,
yeah.
Mr. Dean owns it, and
Yeah.
Asif, so we go there. It's got a nice little area upstairs for sledge running and multi-fitness and HIIT training, and then downstairs just kind of the weights.
So
and stuff.
shout out to the Muscle Club.
Shout out Muscle Club, man, every time, come on, you know. But saying that, I have been pretty much of a hobo. I've been everywhere, all gyms everywhere. I've been into all
You
the
a gym
fitness.
hoe?
I wasn't going to say that, because I swear, gym hoe, yeah. I'm a hoe, man. So I've been to Ultimate Fitness. I was a regular at Metro Training Centre, Aesthetics Training Centre, pretty much everywhere.
Just like different scenery.
You know what is, I go through phases because a lot of people want to train with me, and like I'm someone that if they're in the gym with me and they ask me a question,
Yeah.
rather than just answering a question, I'll train with them for a bit
Yeah.
in the session. So
Yeah.
if they're asking me how to bicep curl, rather than me going, well, you do this and you do that, and the mechanics of the biceps is this, I'm like, come on, I'll show you. And I'll do biceps with them.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, people see, oh, like Warnz, can you train today? Or chest, okay, you want to come and train? And you start to meet people. And so, again, I'll train with everyone. So the gyms I go to, I kind of forge these relationships with either the managers or some of the people that work there. And I kind of I'm there for a couple of months and I'm like, okay then, let's go
Time to
over here
go.
now. Time to go now.
What
I feel too claustrophobic here. I gotta go.
Too many people come here now.
Too many people, man. Too many people.
I've got enough people now. I'm going to move on.
Yeah, but it's true though, because I bring quite a few people to the gym. So if I'm training with 5 or 6 people, those 5 or 6 people will come to that particular gym.
Are
So
you a personal trainer as well?
I don't do personal training. when I say I'm a personal trainer,
You
I'm
do
not a
it, but
qualified personal trainer.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I've just been training for years and years and
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
And my
yeah.
brother's
You got the
a
results.
personal trainer. I've got the resources. I've got a little team that have personal trainers within that team.
Yeah.
And I know, obviously, Adam Kiani, shout out Adam Kiani. He's a
Adam
P-
Kiani.
yeah.
I know Adam Kiani.
Come on, man, my
Shout
guy.
out Adam Kiani.
Yeah, so PT Academy, obviously, I know a lot of things in the industry, but I'm not qualified. So I wouldn't go out there and say, you're going to get a qualified PT, but you can get my knowledge if you want it. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Or I can put you onto PT Academy or some of the people I train with. But in terms of being a personal trainer myself, no. But no, I got knowledge on it though.
Yeah, and you do the PE, don't you? For the
Yeah,
kids?
well, obviously I've got a lot of background in the muscle mechanics, the bones, because when I was growing up, by becoming a footballer, which I wanted to become, my secondary interest, I was very, very interested in school, in PE in itself, not just the physical side of it, but the academic side of it. So I was very clever. I knew all the bones. I knew muscles. So like, I was very good at that and I enjoyed it. So when I went to college, bar just being in college to play football, I studied certain biology, certain things and mechanics of the body, PE, little things. So when I was kind of pushing towards potentially becoming a physiotherapist.
Okay.
And then again, it's like my brother's got everything. Like he's got all those qualifications anyway. He's a physiotherapist as well. Master, like he's like, yeah, I know stuff about this. If you want me to teach you in this, I can do it as well.
Right.
So
Can he come on the show next week?
Yeah, he's one of those guys like you don't see him though.
No, I didn't know.
He's undercover. He's undercover. But so yeah, I do know quite a bit in terms of that. But in terms of having the qualifications, not so much.
Yeah. Okay. What made you transition from football to fitness? I know obviously it's in your background anyway, like you just said.
It's pretty much of a kind of an easy transition, really.
Yeah.
The one thing that made me really focus later on in life in fitness was the fact that I knew I needed to bulk up through some of the comments I had when I was younger. Okay. So I needed to get stronger because I was still kind of almost playing football then. I think for me, it was just the fact that I didn't make it as a footballer, which is all I dreamed about. Like from when I was, again, if anyone who knows me, in my area, I was kind of like the green ticket out of the area. Like everyone's like, Warnz is going to be a footballer, blah, blah, blah. And like everyone's like, when you make it, like we've all made it kind of thing. My mum was adamant that I was going to do it. My PE teachers, my school teachers, my district managers, my county managers, I done it all basically.
Was that like a lot of pressure on you as well?
But I didn't see that as the pressure at the time. But now looking back at it, I used to always, you talk to your inner self. Like every time, like, oh, I'll never see her or whatever it may be. I always used to kind of almost think about that, like, oh, I've got to do this because that person thinks I'm going to be that person, this footballer, or that person thinks I'm going to be this footballer, or I need to do it because my mum, or do you know what I mean? So I wasn't really doing it like I used to when I first grew up. I just played football for the fun of it. We played football in the playground for the fun of it. Me and my friend Tom, we was really, really good. Like we used to play for, again, my brother's football team, who's 4 years older than me, and we used to dominate that league as a youth. So it was kind of more, that was my path. And then when that didn't materialise, kind of working out was another way of stress relief, so to say. So
how old was you when you realised that it wasn't going to materialise?
Well, I got released from Derby when I was 17. So at the time when we was playing football, we were on what we call YTSs, which are youth contracts. Youth team contracts. So we was on those. And basically, when your contract ran out at the age of 17, you either got told you were going to be signed and then essentially you become pro. You still haven't made it, but you sign a pro contract. Or you get told you haven't made it and you've got to seek football elsewhere kind of thing. And I got released when I was 17. So, but mine came with a lot of stress and adversity in terms of I didn't think I was going that. I thought I'd made it essentially.
Really? So it was a shock to
It was
you.
a shock to me because all my peers in my team were saying to me, "You've definitely made it. You're the best player here," and blah blah blah. And you just automatically, and some of the managers and the trainers were just hyping my dad up, saying he's £20 million striker in X amount of years, and like you're like 17 years old, you don't think stuff like that. You're like, okay, well, great stuff. And then when it never materialized, I kind of almost went into a bit of I hate football, never gonna play football again, and I was actually living up in Derby at the time because when we were younger playing football, if you were good enough, you used to stay in what we call digs, which is other people's houses. So I was house sharing with Chris Beardo and his family. So I'd go up there for the week, live there for the week, and the weekend I'd come home. So I was used to that for like almost a year. But the one thing they didn't do is it's kind of like I was on a 2-year trial.
Yeah.
I should have really had a contract earlier because my dad kept asking, well, where's his contract? Why has he not got his contract? And they'd be like, oh, we got too much players signed at the moment, but don't worry, we're going to have a decision in December, Christmas time, when just before 17. And you kind of hold on to that.
Yeah.
But they were ruthless, I'm not going to lie. They pretty much let go. There's 22 of us signed. They kept one goalkeeper. They kept one defender. Shout out Pablo Mills, he knows who he is, yeah? Lee Camp as well, the goalkeeper. They all became professional footballers in life. Like, they kept someone called something Turner, I can't remember his first name, maybe Stephen Turner, the midfielder. And then I was a striker at the time. And then they kept, again, shout out Patrick, they kept Patrick Bannister on as the striker. Yeah. Obviously, to me, it was like, I was told by everyone, my peers, that I should have been the one signed, but whether it was politics or not, his dad happened to be the scout. I don't want to say too much because he's my friend at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know
of course,
I mean?
but it's not fair in that world.
Yeah, so it was kind of ruthless, and then
it's not what you know, it's who you know. But
I reckon, and I don't like saying this because I sound like a stereotypical guy now when I say this. Oh, I had a knee injury, but I literally did have a knee injury. This is the thing. When I was 15, I had keyhole surgery for a meniscus tear.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad. It was easy. Quite in keyhole surgery.
Yeah.
It mended. Slightly, as a 15, 16-year-old kid, you kind of worried about going in tackles and challenges. Yeah. But it wasn't a bad one.
Yeah.
But it affected me slightly. Okay. And then I got another injury on the same knee. On the other side, my posterior ligament on the other side of my leg here. And that was a little bit more invasive. But again, I'd say it took about 10% off of my actual ability.
Yeah.
Maybe that 10% was the reason why I didn't become a footballer.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And then when I got released, obviously, like I said, you imagine, this is the story, I give you the story. So I was in the changing room. I was sitting in the changing room. I'm like, this fingers crossed, everything like. Guy goes in. I haven't made it now. See you later then. Keeps coming down. Pablo goes in. Oh yes, I'm like yes, Pablo. He lived in Handsworth, so he's from Brum. Like we used to get the train up together. So I'm like yes, Pablo, wicked. Like gas, wicked, pleased with me. Fingers crossed. Comes all the way down to like me, and it's gonna. You haven't made it, I'm afraid, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't get me wrong, keep playing football, if you need any support. At the time, the support wasn't really good for, obviously, people that didn't become footballers, but they offered a little bit of support, whether that was a phone call. I didn't take it up, I don't know. But I know later on in life now, there's a big kind of push into the mental well-being of footballers people that don't become footballers, and that's all they know for their life. Football. Yeah. And when they don't make it, especially some of the kids now, they could be 17-year-olds getting 20 grand a week, and then they don't make it. Then all of a sudden that 20 grand's gone, and they can't get into another teams, and they don't have to cope with it. But whether that was what they were offering me at the time, I don't know. So I didn't take it up anyway. I just thought, you know what, I haven't made it. And then I'm in the change room now. Pablo stays in Derby because he's made it, so he goes back to the digs he's sharing. So Chris, my person I was sharing a room with, he didn't make it. So I'm like, wow. So then he's come back and I haven't made it. He goes, I'll wait, obviously, because if you've made it, then come back to the house kind of thing. You're going to come back to the house. So I'm like, all right, got in there, haven't made it. So I'm like, oh, Chris, haven't made it. Tell you, he goes, yo, do you want me to drop your train station? I'm like, nah, it's cool. He's like, oh, okay, I'll see you later. So he's gone. He's gone to his mum, whatever. They took him home. These times, my mum must have bought me some Siemens phone. Yeah, I never used to use this mobile, but I had the first mobile to go down to keep in contact with her. So I'm not going to phone her. She's ringing, like, she's waiting for the answer. I'm not answering it. Didn't answer it, left it in my pocket.
What was you thinking?
I was just like, again, I'm a failure. I've done this. Like, I haven't made it. What am I going to do now? Like, oh, everyone's going to be laughing at me. Like, just loads of different things going through your head. Like, while I'm processing this in my head, like, my face is just stern. Like everyone's like, yo, you okay? Like, you don't seem upset or anything. I'm like, no, I'm all right. So anyway, I've got a taxi to the train station, waited for the train, got on the train. Again, all this going through my head, gone all the way down into Birmingham, got on the bus in town, come off the bus in town, got off the bus outside my road to where I got to go. And it was like, bam, it's kind of hit me. It's like floods of tears. I was like, oh no, failure. Walking around to the house, come through the house. I'm like, I've been phoning you. She obviously sees I'm upset. I'm crying. I haven't made it. I'm a failure. I was like, going upstairs now, closed my door. And literally, I was in there for like 3 days. And then I was like, Mum would obviously come and bring my tea and biscuits.
Shout out to you, Mum.
Shout out, Mumsy. She'd bring the tea and biscuits. And she'd come and give me dinner. But I was literally in my room. Friends knew that I was obviously back. Yeah. So they'd come round, but I just wasn't interested. And then when I finally came out of being in that little mood, I'm like 17 years old now. Like, what am I going to do now? Like, what can I do? Obviously, I knew I loved football, so it's kind of like, I'm going to have to go to college now, and you know what I mean? I'm going to go to college. And you don't expect these things. You think you're just going to go straight to the big time.
Straight to the top.
So I'm like, okay, I got to go to college. So I've gone to college and I just went and did a sports course because obviously that's what I knew. It's not a sports course. But at the same time, like I said, I always had interest in the body. So I'd done some other courses in college, played for the football teams, made some friends, and started to get into football again a little bit. So I think when I got to like 19, I was back in my football. I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of like football. And I phoned up a few people. I was like, is there any clubs I can go and have a trial with? I feel like I can still play football. Yeah. I'm not too bad. Like, you know what I mean? So I've gone there. I've gone to a few semi-pro teams, playing, getting decent money. Like, I'm like an adult now. I'm like 19, so getting decent money. Started playing for some of my local teams as well. And then I'm playing for a Sunday league team. I was like, it's 20. Playing for a Sunday league team. I was 20 years old. I was like, yeah. And then, obviously, it's a Sunday league football, poor condition, grass is muddy, everything. And I've gone up for a header. Come back down, there's this big guy standing still, but he hasn't moved from the spot, he just stood still. So I've won the header. I was like, okay, cool. And as I've come back down, my boot's stuck in the ground, and he's kind of bunked me to the side. And I was like, but this one felt different. Yeah. I was like, I've already had 2 pains in my knee, operations in my knee. Now this one felt super different. I'm like, but obviously I've got to get home. So I somehow drove home. I'm like, nah, this don't feel right. Gone to the hospital. Cut long story short, I snapped my cruciate ligament. So the main ligament in my knee. So that's 3 operations now. So I'm like, they don't want me to play football, you know. Saying it right, like they don't want me to play football. So then again, 21, say 22, like my scar literally is probably about this big on my knee, like a proper big scar. So I didn't play football again for like I didn't play football at all. 21. I got to 21 after my injury and after my operation, because obviously NHS.
How did you feel about like the third injury and stuff in regards to like, because obviously you said you felt like a failure from before, and now how did this one make you feel? Was you just like mind blown?
Oh, this is sod's law in it. Like, you know what I say? Things come in free. It's like you're waiting for a bus. He doesn't come, then 3 buses come. Yeah. I'm like, 3 injuries. I'm like, oh, bloody hell. I just thought to myself, maybe it's not meant to be at the top level, like, or I looked at it on the other side, I'm like, maybe I'm not as strong or as healthy as I think I am. So that's where I started to think about training more. I was now at a medium size. I wasn't as big as I am now, but I was like medium sort of size. I wasn't a skinny guy. I've been doing little bits throughout my college time, and I'd met a few people in the gym, and I'd been doing little bits. And then my brother started taking me to the gym when I was 18. Obviously, this is times where I was very depressed during the 17, when I just got released from Derby, from 17 to say 19. I was doing bits in the gym, but I wasn't as big as I am now. I wasn't taking it serious. So I just thought, it's not really working out here. I need to do something. I'm in college. I've got all these these badges and coaching badges. What am I doing with it? Like, I need to do something better with it. And then before I went to Derby, I played for Villa before that when I say 13. And Villa were quite fond of me. And I said, listen to my daddy, any help he needs in the future, because I left Villa to go to Derby, any help he needs in the future, let us know. So I'm like, I'm sure one of my mates that I knew from school works for Villa. Like, he works for Aston Villa. I don't know what he does, but I keep seeing him going down in the Villa tracksuits. So let me ask him. He's my good friend from school. So I said, Dean Ray, shout out Dean Ray, yeah.
Shout out Dean.
So I said, Dean, like, what you do, man? He goes, I work for Villa, you know. I said, what do you do? He's like, well, I just do like after school clubs in the schools and stuff. And, we do like soccer camps and things like that. I said, how long have you been doing it? He goes, it's just, we kind of just set it up now. Like, my friend Joe, which was the manager at the time, he kind of got me into it. He goes, I've done my coaching badges at college, innit? He went, yeah. So he goes, I'll put a word in for you. So I'm like, okay. So then he's gone, blah, blah, blah. I spoke to the manager. He said, come down, do a session, and then he'll see how you are. And from there, he'll give a yes or no. So I'm like, damn, this is fast. Like, obviously, I knew I was quite outgoing and I could speak to people. And I knew how to play football. So all I had to do essentially was do some of the courses, the work I done from the courses in college anyway, which I was really good at. And I used to lead some of the sessions in college. So I wasn't really afraid to like step out in front of people and tell them how to kick the ball here and do this here. I thought, if I use some of my knowledge from when I was being trained as a footballer as well, I'll come down and I'll just smash the session, whatever. So I've gone down to Villa. Manager's watching now, and I've just done a session with like some kids that they had down there. Just smashed it, and he's gone, yeah, we like you. You're good, you are. Like you've got the height. The kids are like, whoa, like my bloody knees and that. Was like, oh. So it's like, yeah, you got the height. We like what you're about, kind of thing. Yeah, come down. So I've gone down there. Then fast forward like 10 years, I'm at Villa. I'm a football coach for Villa.
No way.
Doing all Villa work. So I've been there from like, so then the program at Villa started to develop more and more and more.
Yeah.
So then we started to set up opportunities in schools where we'd go to schools and we deliver PE lessons, we deliver after school club programs. Then they'd come to Villa Park and then they'd play during the holidays. Yeah. The kids would go down there and have a football camp, etc. And it started to grow, and obviously because I'd been there with Dean early, so I started to get more responsibility. So I started to become leader of certain areas. So I'd have any school in Aston I was doing, and I'd have my part-time staff sending them out to other places. Started to grow really, and then started to like get friends with the teachers in the schools, the head teachers. Obviously, I'd be going to the gym at the same time. So some of the kids that were in the school, their dads used to go to the school as well. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I know your dad, he goes to the gym with me, or blah, blah, blah. Started to build that. And during my course of 10 years, I've just kind of pretty much went all around the city, from Solihull to Sutton. Like pretty much I've been in every school. You can tell me a school, I've probably taught there.
Have you been to Lighthall?
Been to Lighthall school.
That was my school.
Is that your school?
Yeah. Have you been to Peterborough?
Peterborough, yeah,
that
of course.
was my primary school.
There you go. Warmley Juniors, like Town Juniors, all the schools at my Sutton. There's some schools in Brantford, basically anywhere. I pretty much teach in every school. And obviously you form your relationships with the teachers. Yeah. And then me and my mate, we another guy who used to work for us. Shout out Seb Hamilton, Sporting Elite, he knows. So anyway, he could come on here, he's a good guy. He's very entrepreneurial. Well done, Seb.
Oh, I'm going to find you, Seb.
So anyway.
What's his name?
Seb Hamilton. Sporting Elite.
Okay.
So I work with Sporting Elite right now.
Okay. So is that part of Villa, or are we trying?
Now he's got a good story. He built himself up from the ground up. He's doing very, very well now, and he's if he comes on here, he's got a good story to tell. Okay. So we was talking about pretty much doing our own thing, copying Villa's template, but running it for ourselves. Because I'll give you an example of it. So let's say we went to a school and the kids were charged £2 per session to come. If there's 10 kids come, well, you got 20 quid. Yeah. Now, we'd have to go then and give that 20 quid to Aston Villa. I'm obviously not talking about 20 quid. We're going to leave Villa to get 20 quid, but I'm giving an example. Yeah. So we thought we could do this, scale it up ourselves. Yeah. And then he was proper on it because I really want to do it. I'm going to do it myself. You know, I've got some ideas. I'm definitely going to do it. At the time, I was like, I get a good wage from Villa. I got to stay here, but I hear what you're saying. Keep bouncing off each other. In the end, Villa got relegated, and the company, which was in lots of debt, so they had to kind of give redundancies and cut losses. Now, obviously, because I'd been there the longest, I was like 11 years or something like that then, I knew if I left, my redundancy pays. Nice. It's good, you know what I'm saying? It's good money. But at the same time, if I leave, where am I going to go? Yeah. But the year before that, my friend took the leap to leave. This is before the redundancy. He left. This is before the redundancy. He left now, Seb did, and he built his company up, and he started to, because he'd been going to schools as well, he got relationships with teachers. They kind of said, yeah, we don't care about Villa, so to say. The kids like you. Yes. So they come to the session for you. Yeah. Like, you could have a Man United badge on, you could have no badge on, like, they come for you. So he left them, took the plunge and done what he did, started to build it up. And then the year later, when I got redundancy, I'm like, this is it. I'm going to leave, I get my redundancy, I'm going to come on board with you, what you saying? He goes, yeah, but before you do that, I need you to speak to some of the schools that you're in, because essentially, that's what I did. If you speak to schools that you're in at the moment, and they like you, rather than Villa, we can do the same thing. Yeah. So I'm talking to all these schools now, they're like, yeah, of course, we'll have you all day. So I'm like, I've pretty much got a week's work here, and I ain't even got... So if I know I can take this week's work, and I can keep doing this term after term, and make some money. So I said, yes, I'm going to take the redundancy and I'll come on board. So I took the redundancy. This is like 4 years ago now. Wow. Came on board with Seb, and then he was doing that thing. Obviously, Seb's company, he's running it. Works with the police now. Lots of knife crime projects. He's killing it, basically. He's got funding of pots everywhere to put into projects. He's got his own leisure centre now. Wow. Like, his name is basically being talked about in all these groups when they sit down and say, where are we going to put the money? Who can we give this money to? So the governors, the councillors, they all talk, and his name is like pretty much first on the list now. Oh, right. So he's proper smashing it. Then, He's proper smashing it. So I went on board with him, but at the time, I was like, you know what? This is good, but I need more money. You know what I mean? I need more money, man. I like, it's all right saying 1 month you're going to get this, but then when things die down, it's not really consistency. Whereas his company, he's getting money from everywhere. So he can kind of almost maintain that level of finance that he needs to have. Don't get me wrong, tell you if he comes on, 3 years, probably 2 years, he was working for nothing, doing it for free. Well, you have to when you start your business up. But so I was like, I need to do something. And then I went to one school, primary school, this was 3 years ago now, and I was like, is there like a job in here or anything like that? He went, you know what? My PE lead's leaving, He goes, and I'm going to do interviews, but Walid keeps talking about you, saying you're the man. I've seen you coach, and I just want you on board here, what you're saying, because we've got to have interview process, but... Yeah, you've got the job. Like, if you say yes, it's whatever. So I'm like, so how am I going to do it then? So he's gone, well, I can't give... It's not through the council, it's going to be through the pot of money that the schools get for fundings. He goes, but you can either go in our agency, so our staff agency, and, they'll pay you get a cut from it, or you can put it through a company. So I had Sporting Elite. Or if you're self-employed, which I've just become self-employed then, you can do it yourself. So I'm like, I can be greedy and take everything for myself and put it for my own. I'm not going to give this agency money. I don't know.
What's the point in that?
Why don't I put it through Seb's company? Because then it gives him money.
Yeah.
So I'll sacrifice a bit of my pay.
Yeah, cool.
But we keep
the link.
We keep that link and everything keeps growing.
Yeah.
So he's like, at first he's like, I warned you're not going to leave me. I'm like, nah, I got an idea. I'll put it through the company. He's like, if you can. So obviously I put it through the company. And 3 years, fast forward 3 years now, I've just been doing that for 3 years now as a PE teacher. So literally just doing all the PE in the school, every single class I plan, I deliver. So anything I've learned through my time at Villa, I've put into there, but I'm doing a lot more paperwork. I'm doing competitions, taking kids to competitions, but I'm in one school this time rather than 20 different schools.
So you can focus on that.
So I can focus on that particular school. And obviously I'm the subject leader, so I decide what comes out in the PE. I write the policies. I have to look at the budget. So it's kind of very different to what I'm used to, but
do you enjoy it?
Better, because I feel like I've got my own little office. You know what I mean? Come to my room, got pictures on the wall of the kids, like, you know what I mean? So it's calm still.
And you can actually like coach any kids that you can see potential in, and
exactly.
So you can give them that extra.
And what I also do, it's like a double whammy. I can push anytime we have half term clubs, half-term clubs. I push the children
to go over there,
to go over to Seb's because. They go, are you going to be there? So I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm definitely coming there. So they come over there. Or we use the school as a facility to run the camp through. So it's kind of working well, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, you seem like you're really happy and you've got great energy.
Yeah, you have to be.
It works out, doesn't it?
This is what I was saying. I said to myself, when I got released as a footballer and I went through that little depression, because I did, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat and say, oh, he's a big guy. No, I cried like a baby, man. I was like, you get me? I was in my room for days, like crying like a baby. I'm a big baby anyway. Like I'm the youngest in my family, so that was natural to me. But I thought, if I can't become a footballer, this is why This is why I essentially accepted the job at Villa.
Yeah.
If I can't be a footballer, why can't I get the potential kids and children that we see to become footballers? Because I never had this opportunity when I was growing up. I never had a Saturday morning Aston Villa football clinic. Because if I did, you know, I never had the opportunities where Aston Villa would come to my school. We just had our PE teachers, we had those opportunities when I was younger. Who knows how things would have developed? My passion could have been more. I could have trained harder. I could have had a particular coach that said, you know what, you need to do this. Like I've mentored a few children and they've actually become professional footballers.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. Like, I didn't know, but one of my good friends, shout out Basnev, one of my good friends, his cousin, Dexter, shout out Dexter as well. But I never knew Dexter was cousins with him until later on in life. Yeah. But I used to teach Dexter when he was a kid. Look at bald-headed Dexter. And he went to become a professional football player for Coventry. He said that it was because of you and Seb I became a footballer.
Wow. And what that does for you as well.
I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I seen him out. I was out in the indie bar. Like, what you do? Next there, what you doing? How old are you? And I was like, I'm 20 now. I'm like, you're killing me. Because I'm 20 now. I said, yeah. See that 20? He goes, I'm 20, man. Well, I'm almost 20. I was like, okay, well, you're 19 then. All right, mate. So what you doing? He goes, I'll play for Coventry. And I'm like, so Seb, you see what we've done, Seb? Like, he was happy, 100%. But he always remembers us. And obviously now, because I'm good friends with his cousin, I always see him when I go to see his cousin anyway. He's always at auntie's house, whatever. And like, obviously he knows, he recognises it, he tells everyone, he made me do this and blah, 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 and whatever. Whether he's still on the football path now, at the time he was at Coventry, and whether he's still at Coventry now, I think he's in between because of the pandemic or whatever. But he's still at a good level of football, and that's because we pushed them when we were training at Villa to make sure they become something, because we didn't have the opportunity. Of course. So that's kind of
gives you more of that drive.
Exactly.
And it seems like you're able to give more of like a positive thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got more of a positive impact on like the children that you're teaching and stuff, because you've actually gone through.
I've got the empathy, haven't I? Yeah, so exactly. I've been there, I've done it. I've got the t-shirt. I was the one that didn't make it, or the one that wanted to make it. I know the struggles. I've tried to, like, this is why, again, shout out to Sporting Edit. This is why they're really, really good, because they have projects to try and get the kids off the streets. We used to have a Friday football camp. It was free to the kids to come, and it was obviously can't do it now because of the pandemics, and it's slowed things down terribly. But the kids could come between 17 and 19-year-olds. These are like adults really, not necessarily kids. And they could come and play football for free. We'd hire the pitch. Well, not me, but Sporting would hire the pitch, etc. And then just let them come down, and you'd have people from different areas, different area codes playing football. And when they're playing football, or in that particular team, everything's all right. When they go back to the areas, that's when the trouble used to start. But his initiative was to kind of stop all this, and this is what Sporting League kind of stands for. Working with the police to prevent knife crime workshop projects, guest speakers in. Like, shout out my friend Gadget, Crazy Levels, he does motivational speaking as well in schools. So like all of that, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a good thing that he's done. So that's what gives us pride when we see these children or these young adults become not the stereotype that people perceive them to become. Do you know what I mean?
And you can offer them that level of support as well.
Exactly.
That you never had yourself. Or
exactly.
Or that other children need, because everybody's going through something, aren't they? Especially if they go there on a Friday to keep themselves off the streets.
But that's what it was.
It's to occupy their mind and stuff. So
but it's good, and like now the pandemic's happened, it's kind of almost like the funding for that stopped, because we used to obviously Sporting League being a charity company, it was the funding pots from the councils that would help build these projects. But now, because we can't mix with people, we can't do the football sessions, they can't come and play football down Power League, down Goals, wherever it may be, they've gone back to where they've gone back to. And it's like, when you speak to the police, like, well, what can we do? We can't do nothing, because it's all right playing FIFA tournaments online. But once you're out of the tournament, you don't care no more. You go back and do what you're doing.
But hopefully it should all be over soon, and we can all resume back to normality.
That's the plan.
What are your goals now then, moving forward? So have you got anything that you'd like to achieve, or what are you striving for?
I think in terms of me personally, I'm looking to push new talent in terms of new fitness people in industry. We're trying to launch our own brand now. We've got a company called Strength Mob. We've got myself, Crazy Levels, Gadget. I don't know whether you put something down here.
We're going to get some tags.
So Crazy Levels, he's one of the CEOs. We've got Big D, Strength Limitless. So again, us three were like the CEOs of Strength Mob. And the idea behind Strength Mob is, first of all, the word strength. It doesn't have to represent strong. It could be strong-minded, strong-willed. It can be anything.
Well-being.
Anything to do that you consider a strength. And then the word mob, obviously we know the word mob relates to a group of people. So the more people we get, the better the mob becomes. And the second tagline is strength in numbers. So that's what our ethos is on the company. Got some t-shirts out that we're doing at the moment. So we've got a few t-shirts. Obviously during the pandemic, we've slowed down a bit. We can't really go to printers, etc. So as soon as all this is over, we're going to boost that again. Some of the guys in the mob are competing. So someone's doing bodybuilding. So again, diet on point. And we got 2 people are doing powerlifting competitions. So Crazy Levels doing powerlifting competitions, and again, shout out Mo the Beast. Mo the Beast is doing a powerlifting competition, and he's aiming to be the strongest bencher in the UK.
I'm rooting for you!
For 105 kg. So he's 105 kg. At the moment, I think he's got the record. He's slightly behind it, but he's pushing to get that record. So we're pushing lots of things through that. We've got dietary programs coming out. We've got, I'm going to have a podcast as well. So you're going to be on it. I got you on it.
Oh, that's why you came on mine. You're thinking
I'm getting ideas, man. Come on, we're bouncing here. I'm having you on the program, the show, because we know you got a story to tell as well. So mine's going to be, I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be based on the fitness industry.
I'm excited.
So
I'm really happy.
How people got into and then we're going to have another YouTube series to do with Strength Mob trains with, and then we're gonna go to different places and train with different people.
Did you come and train my skinny little legs?
I got you, man. I got those, man. Trust me.
I need to put a bit more meat on them. I'll blow away literally if it gets any.
So, like I said to you earlier on in our little chat, newbie gains. As soon as you start training, you're gonna get those newbie gains. You're like, yo,
I've never had newbie gains. I've never trained enough to get newbie gains.
Get them,
I'm really excited.
You'll get it, man. Don't worry about that. Like I said,
I'm part of Strength Mob. What do you mean?
No, you are now. You're officially part of Strength Mob now. I've got you, man. Don't worry about that. I got you. So yeah, we got those. We got programs coming out where we got like training programs, like a 4-week, 5-week training program, similar to like Scott, like his little gang. He's got these training programs. So we're gonna try and move down that sort of direction. Yeah. And again, because I'm honored to be on the show, first and foremostly, because I just thought myself, I'm just like a little blip on the radar in terms of all the other big people in the fitness industry. But the fact that even with my small following, whatever it may be, I still get messages saying you're motivation to me, you're like, watch you, like it's contagious, blah, blah, blah. So for that alone, I'm kind of doing it to push that narrative.
Nobody is you, and that is your power.
You get me? So that's kind of what we got planned in the future. But other than that, just for now, trying to get over this pandemic and just living life as much as we can, really. You know.
Big ones.
Come on, man. You know, every time.
It's been emotional.
But are we going to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Before we wrap it, I got something for you. Can you grab that bag for me, please?
Yeah?
Come on.
Oh, come on.
So we're gonna show. So basically, I know it was your birthday the other day. So here's your first birthday treat.
You so
there you go.
Much.
That's for you.
You are the kindest.
And then second of all, I told you you're part of Strength Mob, innit?
Yes.
I told you part of Strength Mob. So I got you Strength Mob tea.
Thank you so much.
That's for you.
I'm going to be wearing this in all the gyms
That's the thing now. And you know what? Because I'm a nice guy.
First present.
Because I'm a nice guy, I'm actually going to give you 2. One of each colour. Come on.
Look at this.
This is what we're doing.
Do you sell these yet? Or just part of the people for...
They're getting sold soon, but we've sold a few. Obviously the first batch, but we're gonna get the next batch out soon, and obviously they'll be on the website, etc., to purchase. So, because obviously it was your birthday the other day, and we go way back, you get me?
Do.
So
you do.
Got your present.
Thank you so much. Before you leave, I want you to do a little motivational talk for any of the younger generation that have been through something similar to what you've been through, or anyone that's struggling to come back from something, or I like to think of rejection as redirection, and you are a perfect example of that.
I love that.
And I want you to just do your thing.
Okay, so I'd say, first thing I would say is, like you said, rejection is redirection.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to use a sort of similar analogy. I want everyone, no matter what you're doing in life, just to keep trying.
Yeah.
So try as many new things as you possibly can. When you try something, if you quote unquote fail it, do not see it as a failure. See those failures as first, second, third attempts at success.
You fail your way to success.
So you cannot fail anything in life, because no one's perfect the first time round. So if you try something and you fail, it's an attempt. Eventually you'll find your niche. You'll find what you're good at. And once you do find your niche and what you're good at, put all your energy into that.
I love that.
All right.
You are my people.
Come on, man.
That. Especially now I've got a present. You really are my people.
I want to see that one.
Literally, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to take a picture. I'm even going to put it on my Instagram for you.
Come on.
Mob. I'm even going to follow them.
Love, man.
Part of the crew. You got to put a picture of me in this top. I Mob, with my little skinny legs. Newest member.
If you put that on and you wear that on your gram, you're coming straight on the page. Feature Keeley walk a mile in their shoes. All right.
Please.
And like I said, I look forward to having you on my show soon.
I'm excited.
Because I know you got a story to tell. And reach out to Sport and Elite.
I will.
Because he's definitely got a story to tell, how his business grew from the bottom. Because you will be a guest on my show, Seb, don't you worry.
Mine first though. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No worries.
Yeah, you can see what you like about me. You wouldn't even fit into my shoes.